Good morning.
I love the way we clap for ourselves.
I wasn't clapping, were you?
Yeah.
You were clapping for me. Thank
Yay,
you.
me.
Good morning. Welcome to the broadcast. Many of you waking up this morning early on and turning on the news and seeing the devastation from Moore, Oklahoma, and a suburb of Oklahoma City. It is just, it's heartbreaking, it's tragic. If you haven't seen this morning and you haven't been updated. Now, originally they were saying that this tornado killed 51 people, and now the medical examiner's office is saying, no, there's 24. So I think this is what we see when situations like this happen, that there's a lot of information coming in, and it takes, a good 24 hours or so before we assimilate all the information and find out really what's what.
But because they're still looking for people.
They're still looking for people.
And overnight, they went through the rubble and found 101 people alive.
Exactly. So now, as daylight, how the rescue efforts go. Of course, we saw the same thing happening in Granbury and Cleburne, and 20 of the victims are said to be children. One of the elementary schools there was completely leveled. And I was watching this morning on Good Morning America, and they had some video of one of the moms running up to the school, and she saw her little boy. And just, the crying and the feeling that she must have had of relief, holding her little boy. And then, of course, I think of the 20 families that aren't going to be able to have that same moment. And it is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And, it's in Courtney, you were saying this morning, if you could get in your car and drive there and do something, you'd do it right now. And
I was in bed for the majority of yesterday with my laptop in my lap, just watching the live stream of this on the Oklahoma affiliate, their NBC affiliate. And it's devastating and it's sad. And I, at a moment, broke down and just started bawling my eyes out last night and thought, literally was a hop, skip, and a jump away from getting in my car and driving there, because I wish if I knew there was something that my body being there could do to help people.
Right.
I felt, and I've never felt this way before. I felt this overwhelming, I'm going to start crying again. I just felt this overwhelming sense of I need to help these people, and what can we do, and how can we be there, and is there somebody I can help and just calm down and talk to. I wish that me being there, if there was something I could do, I would go. They're they're asking volunteers not to actually do that.
Right, and we know after talking to Anita Foster from the Red Cross here that the best way to help, if you can, is to text 90999, text Red Cross to 90999, and that automatically
comes out of your, and
on your cell phone bill. It's a $10 donation,
multiple
and of course
times.
they need that. And they asked for the same thing for the victims and the cleanup efforts here in our area.
I was on Twitter, I was on Instagram, I was tweeting this myself, texting this myself, and I did the math, and I was like, if every one of my Twitter followers, I have close to 41,000. I was like, if all of them did this, we could raise close to $500,000. And it's such an easy thing that people can do if you feel that overwhelming pull in your heart to do something.
Easy. Text on your cell phone right now. It makes a donation.
999 to Red Cross right now. It is the easiest thing you can do to help these victims in Oklahoma.
I'm confused though, because you know what you're talking about, but I don't. When you text, how does it take money out of your account?
It goes on your cell phone bill. So you just pay the $10 the next time you pay your cell phone bill. It's the easiest way to donate.
Okay, so,
Yes, it's so easy. I mean,
I see. It's charged to your cell phone bill, but then we know they're going to give it to the Red Cross.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
they do.
And you get a message back saying from Red Cross, thank you. There it is.
So our producer Stuart and I actually have a colleague that we worked with at CBS 11, Melissa Newton. At the time, she's since been married, and I'm not sure if she's still using Newton or not. But she lives in Moore. And her husband, she works for one of the television stations in Oklahoma City, I believe, and then her husband is a meteorologist there.
Oh.
And so she was seeing the whole thing happen, and her husband was on the air reporting, and I think she's joining us live right now on the phone. Melissa, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
I think I'm doing amazingly well, considering many of my neighbors are not. I live in the neighborhood that was completely wiped out. Fortunately, my home is still standing, and my family is all safe. But our neighbors' homes are not.
Melissa, walk us through yesterday and what happened as soon as you got the warning, and tell us just from your personal perspective what happened.
Well, I was at work. and my husband is the chief meteorologist here at the ABC station, and he sent me a text about 2 o'clock saying, I would advise you leave work early, get home, get our dogs, and prepare to get underground. And so I leave work, and I'm driving home on Interstate 35, and I'm listening to him on the radio, and I hear him say, tornado on the ground. It just crossed Interstate 44. It's heading directly toward Moore. And I look out to the west, and I see just this giant black funnel heading toward me. And at this point, people are stopping on the highway, under underpasses, because they're trying to seek shelter, but all they're really doing is keeping everybody else stuck on the highway as well. But I finally got home in time to grab my dog, get in the shelter, and then just within minutes after I got down there, the tornado hit my neighborhood.
Oh my gosh! And could you hear it as it passed over when you were in the shelter?
Yeah, you could hear it, and it sounded like a jet engine. When I used to report and I would interview people in tornadoes, they would say it sounded like a freight train, and that's a pretty fair assessment as to what it sounds like. It sounds like this roaring, violent wind, and you could hear things hitting your house. You could hear pieces of debris or whatever just banging on your garage door, banging up against your windows in your house. And
What about the moment,
silent.
Melissa? What about the moment when you came out of the shelter? You walked through your home. You saw that it was still standing. Everything was okay, and you walked out your front door.
Well, initially when I walked out my front door, I see debris. I see plywood and sheetrock and pieces of people's homes in my front yard. But it looks on my street like it wasn't that bad. And then you walk and you turn the corner, and homes are just completely wiped off their foundation, and it's that way for miles. It seems like it looks like hundreds of homes are just gone. And this is a neighborhood that every single day I jog through, and when I'm walking through this neighborhood, I didn't even know where I was because nothing looked recognizable.
Melissa, what's the mood in Moore like this morning? Obviously, people, throughout the night they have continued to search for victims, and search parties have successfully found some people. But what is the mood like in the neighborhood of Moore? Are people feeling hopeful, or is the mood really somber there?
Honestly, I feel like it's just now hitting people what happened. For those yesterday walking around, everybody was like zombies. They were just walking around the streets, not having anywhere to go because their homes were gone, and they're just taking in the devastation, and they're not saying anything. And now you see people breaking down, and you see people going through their homes, and they're crying, and it's really hitting them finally. Oh my gosh, this has happened. This is real. And my heart breaks for those families whose kids were in that school, and it's just a tragic situation in this community.
It is, Melissa. I know we've been, all of us, shedding tears this morning over it. It's horrible thinking about the families who won't get to have that reunion with their kids. How close is the elementary school to your house?
It's probably a couple of miles away. I teach third graders at my church on Wednesdays, and a few of them go to that school. I don't know I haven't been able to talk to their families, so I'm just praying, as we all are, that everyone's okay.
Oh, honey, well, our hearts go out to you, because I know that as you get more information, you may be in a situation where there are people that you knew who didn't survive this. So anyway, our thoughts with you and with all the people there in your neighborhood, and thank you for taking a few minutes and talking with us and telling us your story. I'm just glad you're okay.
Thanks, Lisa.
So, as I said, that was Melissa Newton. Many of you remember her. She was a reporter at CBS 11 when I was there, and our producer Stuart was there. And she's such a beautiful, wonderful person, and very prayerful. And And I just know that this is really hitting her heart.
I'm thinking about all these people that got up in that morning, fixed breakfast, sent their school lunches, packed the kids' lunches, went to their jobs, and now
And you never know.
in the thing lasted 40 minutes
Can you believe
on
that?
the ground.
40 minutes, and they say
40 minutes.
between 1 and 2 miles wide. It's massive. 40 minutes on the ground, winds up to 200 miles per hour. Here's the scary thing for us here today. We have serious weather heading our way, and it is set to move right through our area. And so we want to come back after the break. We're going to talk to another expert about real things that we can do today to stay safe.
I would like to know if there are shelters in town, in the communities, and where would they be?
We're going to ask Mark after the break. More broadcast when we come back.
Stand by me.
Yeah, because I think, like, you know, if you're out
If the sky that we look upon should tumble